I legit felt like I was dying. If you see me looking down, it's because I made a list. Because there's a lot to talk about. Okay, so it's important to know that 1 in 3 women suffer from postpartum anxiety and depression. You are not alone, and that's the main reason that I am making this video, is because I felt alone. I felt like I was a bad mom. I felt like I was a bad mom. I felt like I was going crazy. I felt something was seriously wrong with me. You are not alone. 1 in 3 women is a lot. Baby blues are different than postpartum anxiety or postpartum depression. Everybody, I think, feels a little bit down after having a baby, just a little bit, because your emotions are high place. It gets worse after your pregnancy is over. Your emotions are all over the place because your body is trying to like balance out your hormones. So you're gonna feel a little out of whack. Like I said, I thought that I had it under control, and I thought that I could manage things with like trying to do meditation every day. I thought that if I worked out every day, I got to the point where I was working out like 4 different times a day. Not that that's bad for me, because I'm still a little overweight from having Anna, but I was working out like 4 times a day. Every time I would start feeling anxious, start feeling like I was about to go into a panic attack, I would do a workout. And I thought that I could manage it that way, and I just wasn't managing it that way. I was trying to convince myself that it wasn't true, that I wasn't suffering from anything. I felt like if I needed to go on medication or something, it would make me a bad mom. Plus, I was terrified of taking medication. And when I talked to my sister about this, I told her, I was like, I don't want to go on medication. I'm terrified. What if I'm allergic to it? What if something goes wrong and it's in my body and I can't? I don't think I could do it. And she was like, do you hear yourself right now? She goes, you are clearly suffering from postpartum anxiety. And she goes, you literally said that you won't get help because you are afraid that something will go wrong. That is irrational. So I was like, yeah, there was that. Oh, I didn't even realize what was happening to me until after an ER visit, because I legit thought that I was dying. I went to the ER because I was having a panic attack, and I didn't realize that I was having a panic attack, and I felt like everything was just like I couldn't focus on anything. I felt like everything was like spinning around me. But I mean, I didn't have the spin, so it's like hard to explain. I just felt overwhelmed. I felt like everything was spinning around me. My heart would start racing, and it was because I was having a panic attack, and I didn't know what it was. Like I thought that I was dying. My feet would go numb, and apparently that is a sign of anxiety, and I didn't know that. Like, I've never heard that if you are experiencing anxiety, it can make your feet go numb. So I was like, I thought something was seriously wrong with me. I called my husband home from work. I went into the ER, and all my tests came back normal, besides being a little bit dehydrated, but it wouldn't have caused any of the symptoms that I was experiencing. I did have Anna right before summer hit. I had her in May of last year, and it would help so much just getting outside. And so I thought, like, I could do these workouts, I could go outside, I could put my feet in the grass, I could get some sun, and it would help me. And it did. It helped me until around Thanksgiving time, where it started getting colder out, and I couldn't go sit outside, and I was having panic attack after panic attack after panic attack every single day. And it was like when the sun went down, it was like I was fine during the day, and I mean I felt a little anxious, but it was nothing that like I couldn't manage. And then it was like as soon as the sun started going down, I started panicking, and I don't know why that is. It's just I started getting panic attacks, and I would go into panic attacks. I tried to hide it from Austin. I tried to, like, every time I felt like one was coming on, I would go into the bathroom because I didn't want him to know. I felt ashamed, and I felt like I needed to handle it on my own, and I was scared. I feel like everybody probably experiences postpartum anxiety or postpartum depression differently than everybody else. I've heard a lot of similar things than what I went through. It's just you have have to get help. And I feel like if COVID-19 wasn't a thing, I wouldn't have got it as bad as I did. Like, I was terrified. I was terrified to let anybody, like, come over to my house. I was terrified to let anybody just be outside my house, like over 6 feet away. Like, my husband would have friends over, because he waited like a long time, and he wasn't seeing any of his friends, and he was getting a little depressed about it, because he missed his people. And so one day he had them come over, and they were all outside, and he was standing like way more than 6 feet away from them. Outside, the air is constantly moving, and I was like I was having a panic attack. I was like, oh my God, we're gonna get COVID. And I was freaking out, and I know COVID is serious, but I was being irrational about it. And I feel like that's part of the reason that I experienced postpartum anxiety as badly as I did, because I didn't know postpartum anxiety was a thing, and I think that's why I was in denial for so long about it. I just thought, I've heard of postpartum depression, and not a lot of people talk about postpartum anxiety, and I didn't know it was a thing. I thought something was wrong with me. Like, I thought something was seriously wrong with me, and I thought that like I was gonna die. That's really what I felt like. I thought that I was gonna die. I thought something was wrong with me. Breastfeeding releases different, it's supposed to release oxytocin into your body, but like, I feel like breastfeeding made it worse for me, because I don't know, I couldn't get help. I was feeding Anna every hour, 2 hours. She was cluster feeding. She was living on my boobs. It was stressful, and I feel like it made it worse. But I pushed through. I'm still breastfeeding her now. She's almost a year old, and we're still going strong, but it was hard. Like, I had a point where she was hungry, and I would try to feed her, and I was like borderline panic attack, and I kept having to sit her down. Like, I would feed her, and then I would feed her a little bit, and then I would sit her down, and she would cry, but I'd have to like walk away to go try to take care of myself, and then I just felt like the worst mom in the world for that. And that's the point where my husband started noticing that something was going on, because I was trying to hide it from him, because I felt like a failure. I felt like a bad mom. I felt like if I had to go on medication, that would make me a failure and a bad mom. And then I was scared about going on medication, and then getting into my milk supply, and I wanted to breastfeed. I wanted to breastfeed so badly, and I just thought that if I got help, or I sought out help, that I wouldn't be able to, which is not true. It is not true. I'm on medication now. It's the only thing that helped me deal with things. I needed help. I needed help, and it was around Thanksgiving time, where we were just gonna go over to my mom's house with my sister and my brother's family, and we were all gonna go over there, and I was just in such a panic about it. And I every single day, every single night, I was having panic attacks leading up to Thanksgiving. And so eventually I went and I seen my doctor, and I think I took my first dose of the medication that they put me on. I took my first dose on Thanksgiving. And it took the one that I took. I remember calling my mom, and I was like, "Can this make it worse? I feel like this medication is making me worse." And she told me that I'm not gonna get better unless I take it consistently. And I believe that it's 2 to 3 weeks what they put me on for it to get into your bloodstream and actually start working, which it did. But like, when I was convinced that it was making my anxiety worse when I was taking it, and I was scared to take it. Like, I made sure the first time I took it, Austin was home, and my mom was just a call away in case anything went wrong. There were things that helped me before I went on the medication. Like I said, I was working out. Journaling helped a lot. I would try to like wake up before the kids in the morning and like try to meditate a little bit, which helped a lot. But you can't do it on your own, and that's basically doing everything that I did. I found great coping mechanisms, but they were just band-aids over the problem, and I needed medication. I needed to go to the doctors. I needed to get help. And when I finally came to terms with that like everything that I do, it's just a band-aid. It's not gonna help. Like, I can't do this on my own. I came to those terms once I got bad. I got bad with my panic attacks every single night. It was like I said, when the seasons changed, when it started getting colder out and I couldn't go sit in the sun, and when the sun would go down, it got so bad, and I yeah, I just came to terms with the fact that I wasn't going to be able to do this on my own and that I needed to get help. And you are not alone. You are worth it. You are a great mom, and it's not a bad thing to ask for help. If you need to go on medication for a little bit, then you need to go on medication for a little bit. You need to do what's good for your mental health and what's best for you and your family. Like, I am so glad that I came to terms with it, and I'm so glad that I got help when I did. If you need to reach out to me, you have any questions, you can go ahead and DM me, or you can leave a comment down below. I think it's important to let you know that I am not a therapist, though, and I can tell you from my personal experience, but I cannot give medical advice, if that makes sense. I'm here for you. I'm here for anybody that needs me. You are not alone. It's important to know that you are not alone, and you are not the only person that is experiencing something like that. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please feel free to subscribe, give it a thumbs up, so you can be a part of our little family. You don't miss anything that we got coming for you.